Welcome to Community Cocktails with Kimberly, hosted by Kimberly Woodard, a realtor who's been selling homes in North Texas with more than 21 years of experience. Join her every first and third Wednesday of the month as she meets with top community leaders, local businesses, and real estate industry experts to help you get to know the area you want to call home. Don't just love your home, love your community. And now your host, Kimberly Woodard.
Welcome, viewers, to this episode of Community Cocktails with Kimberly. I am so thrilled about this episode because I have a product that you guys are going to have to go run out and get, and perfect for the holidays, stocking stuffers, or gifts that you need for that person that maybe loves wine, or maybe they are saying that they can't drink wine because they have some effects. This product, I think, is going to solve their problem. So welcome, Dr. David Meadows here. He is the co-founder and CEO of Pure Wines. Welcome, David.
Thank you, Kimberly. It's really exciting to be here. We just really enjoyed meeting people like this and explaining our products, because what we found is that over the years, people have a lot of myths and folklores about what causes their headaches. And so as a sufferer, and it sounds like you have people who are sufferers too, is that we have a thing in common. And through that whole process, my son Derek and I formed a company called Pure Wine about 8 years ago, and we cracked the code. We found out what's causing these headaches that have been plaguing humanity for 9,000 years.
That is, so a little bit about yourself. So people know you have a extensive, you are obviously a PhD doctor and scientist. So that does help with developing this, great product. And let's talk about how this, we were talking earlier, just, around how this really came. It was, your son was coming home from college. So he was, in college, like our crazy kids are, doing all kinds of, they were, doing a beer,
craft
beers is what you said. And, he was having some adverse effects from the beer, and it wasn't from drinking too much. Let's just put it up to that, because everyone's like, oh, maybe I drank too much. And it's not that.
No, it's not.
So
it turned out about 10 years ago, I stopped drinking wine entirely because I would lose my voice sometimes for 2 or 3 hours after just drinking a half a glass of wine. And I knew just from my medical background that wasn't overconsumption.
Right.
And so through the sort of the scientific method, what I call the scientific method, I knew that it wasn't the histamines, the sulfites, because sulfites are much more prevalent in white wines. Okay. And it was the red wines that were causing the problems for me. And for my son, Derek, it was the IPAs. He would be making these double and single IPA beers on our kitchen stove, and he would end up being very congested from that. So we just said, well, let's go into our game room. That's what we did. We started making experiments on our ping pong table in our game room, and really quickly decided we needed to have a lab. So we rented a lab down in Fort Worth at UNT Health Science Center. And for about a year and a half, we consumed a lot of lab supplies. A lot of lab supplies, probably 1,000 experiments, and we were able to come up with a patented product that is able to remove the histamines and the sulfites out of all types of wine. It works for beer, because beer has the same kind of things in it. It's every part of fermentation will form these histamines and sulfites. So whether it be a whiskey or, let's say, sake or even kombucha, all of them have these histamines that are a byproduct of fermentation. And you're basically drinking liquid histamine when you drink them. It's nothing wrong with the quality. It's just part of the natural fermentation process.
Wow. Okay. I'd learned something new.
And so what I wanted to do for today is that I wanted to actually do a little experiment, because one of the big myths that we have encountered throughout all of our meeting with thousands and thousands of people is they always say, well, I consumed too much, or it's the alcohol in there. The others are, well, I didn't drink enough water, or it's some other cause, maybe the phase of the moon, who knows. And so what we did is we said, well, we have a little question. And so I'm going to ask you, which one of these products, we have a little jigger of vodka, and that's 40% alcohol. We have just your regular 12 ounces of beer, and we have a normal pour of red wine. Which one of those has more alcohol?
I would go with the vodka because it was a straight shot. I know if I drank that, I'd be like a lot tipsy than if I drank that.
So the answer is they're the same.
Wow.
They all have the same amount of alcohol, meaning ethanol, in them. And so you just go through and say, okay, you ask yourself, which ones of these am I most sensitive to?
Okay.
Very few people have problems with a lager beer. This is a really clean lager beer, high quality. This is a really clean, vodka. And people usually don't have much problems with those.
Right.
But yet red wine and white wine, particularly white wine, and again, this is the differential diagnosis. If it's white, it's the sulfites that you're allergic to. If it's red wine, it's the histamines. And what we found is about 80% of the people have problems with the red wine.
Yep.
And so it is just a part of the natural fermentation process. So that really is an aha moment when we discovered that, is that it doesn't have anything to do with overconsumption, most commonly. If you're drinking 1 or 2 glasses of wine, that's not an issue for you. But yet you're consuming the same amount of alcohol.
Interesting. Okay. Well, just learned something new. 2 new facts.
There we go. And so out of that was the process of how do we develop a product?
Yes.
Because that was the science behind it. But then what we decided is we're going to develop a series of products. Our first was what we called the wand. So I've got some here for you. Let's go ahead. We've got some wine. Okay, let's dive in. This is our wand. And so you notice I've got a red one.
Oh,
and what do
I
you?
have a pink one.
Yeah.
With a little heart.
With a little heart on it.
Okay.
And all you do is it's basically what we'll call a Brita filter for wine. That's the easiest way to think of this, is you just put it in your wine, swirl it for a couple of minutes, and just like a Brita filter removes the minerals and the organics out of water, what you're doing here in wine is you're selectively removing just the histamines and the sulfites. And again, if you wanted to have your craft beer that had a lot of IPA characteristics to it, you could use that. Or we have a lot of people who are using brown liquors too, because these would be bourbons and whiskeys that have side effects for people because they have a lot of these same kinds of ingredients in them. So you just swirl it casually for a couple of minutes, and then you're good to go. And so you now remove the histamines and the sulfites, and you won't wake up the next morning feeling lousy. Or a lot of people, particularly fair-complected women, get flushing.
Yes.
Where they get flushing from the chest up, and they get really feeling hot. What we found also is Asians. There's a thing called Asian flush. And so Asians get a lot of this flush from, again, their ancestors did not drink red wine.
Right.
So we worked with 23andMe and Ancestries.com and found that there's certain genetic characteristics to people who are not able to process the histamines from that. So you can do it
Very interesting.
a DNA test to find out how sensitive you are.
Wow, I didn't know that either. Okay, 3 facts.
There we go. We're on a roll.
Yes, we are. I'm just learning all kinds of new things.
So this was our first product. We call it the wand.
Okay.
And it's still our best seller because it's so convenient.
this.
As you noticed, women love to put this in their purse. They just take 3 or 4 of them, go out with their girlfriends or happy hour. Guys, I always take them and put them in my pocket. And so it's really convenient for that in your jacket, or you can go out and you just, whether you're going to have a rosé or a white wine or even a beer, because it works for all alcoholic beverages, you're ready to go.
Nice.
And so what we did was then we found that there was a lot of need for different occasions. So we came up with what we call a selection of fans of wands. So really for whatever occasion you would have, we've got all these different colors.
Well, and I love all the colors. We were talking, with college, football, pick your team, or the holidays, or whatever.
I got one little lanyard that I usually wear around my neck, but
I liked the accessory. He was competing against my necklace.
So let's see. So the other products that we have was that after about 3 years, so this was in 2017, we launched this.
Okay.
And it quickly, it was really hard to keep it in stock because we're the #1 wine accessory on all of Amazon now. We're in over 100 countries. We were picked up on Shark Tank for a couple of years ago. So it's been a really wild ride for us. But we quickly learned that a single glass works for people out and about on the go.
Yeah.
But people wanted to be able to have it in their home too.
Yeah.
So this was really a series of products we launched 2 years ago, and this is called the Phoenix. We've got, of course, 3 colors for it too.
And I love them.
Yeah. But for your benefit, we've got the rose gold here, and it works very easily. You just take it out of the box. It actually has a little cartridge here. These cartridges are made out of bioplastics. It's actually made out of sugarcane plastic. So you just, once you're done with it, you'll put that on there, assemble it like this. Go. Put it into your bottle. Like that. And it filters as you pour. So it's great for home use.
Yes,
and it filters the entire bottle. And when you're done, you would just take the cartridge out and throw it in your garbage on that. You just rinse it in the sink. So this one's been really popular because now people in their home use, or it's great for gifting. It's great for stocking stuffers and things like that for the people who enjoy wine, but they don't want to feel lousy the next day.
Oh, definitely. This is a great gift. You know, we'll have a link to their site and to the Amazon link so you can order these things, by the way. But I love that because, you know, now, you know, you're going to be the head of the parties.
Well, we're glad what we can now do is we can say that we've been able to make it to where people who had given up wine, and for a lot of people, it's part of their culture. It's part of their food, part of their going out and being able to socialize. And so have really found a tremendous interest out in the community. And because of that, we've actually started working with health and wellness organizations. So we have some major hospital groups and that use us in their health and wellness clinics, because what you find is that inflammatory diseases such as irritable bowel syndrome, such as gout, different kinds of Crohn's, all of those are related to histamines. And so anyone who has histamine overproduction or they have side effects from histamine, this is a great product for you, because now you can drink wine or drink your alcoholic beverage and not have that trigger, such as a migraine. The leading trigger for migraines is red wine.
Interesting. That's why I was staying away from it so much.
So
because I do get migraines. Very interesting. So now I just use my little wand. No more migraines.
The other thing that we found, and this has been series, again, we learn by talking to our customers, is that what we found is that also women who have had children, is that after they have had their first child, they often develop allergies, or these allergies that they didn't have before. And so we did some research into that, and it turns out that that's really common, because during the time that they're pregnant, they end up having overproduction of an enzyme that removes the histamine. And they're no longer pregnant. All of a sudden, these allergies start showing up. And so these postpartum allergies are being triggered by wine. So what we find is there's a lot of people who benefit from after giving birth, and then also during peri and postmenopausal women, is that because these are all estrogen-linked side effects. So as estrogen declines, you end up having often age-onset allergies or autoimmune type symptoms.
Well, the wand takes out all those bad things, but keeps the good thing, the alcohol.
That's exactly right. And so that's what we've really found, is that we've been able to find a niche that by solving this age-old problem is that now people can come back and they bring it back into their lifestyle. And they don't have to have the side effects that they've dreaded, because some people, it's really a dread for them.
They do. And, you know, wine is, it's, you know, such a culture thing. I mean, if you go, you know, to Europe, it's just part of your meal. You know, you have a glass of wine, doesn't matter what time of day, and, you know, and the age of, you know, people, you have a glass, that's just, you know, it's no different. It's your water and your wine glass. But, you know, and a lot of people, again, when we're talking, you have, you know, step back, because I think it's interesting, sometimes they'll be like, oh, I can't drink wine, but I can drink, you know, vodka or tequila or something. But, you know, it's the same stuff is in those as well. And so, you know, for those that on the reverse say, hey, I can't drink tequila because it makes me, you know, a headache, or, you know.
It's the same kind of thing. And so we find people who use it for certain tequilas that have a lot of histamine in there. And that's really, I think, what was really intriguing as we went through all of this, and we tested a bunch of different wines, is that we found an answer to, I think the question is, well, I can drink the European wines, but I can't drink the U.S. wines or certain. So what we found was that it really depends on the grapes that are used to make the type of wine. So it all has to do with the amount of histamines that are in the skin of the grape. So if you've got, let's say, a Cabernet, which is what we found has the highest level of histamines, some of the Cabernets, and yet you may have a Pinot Noir that doesn't have many histamines, or you may have a Northern Italian Nebbiolo wine that has very few histamines in it. You say, oh, I can drink the Northern Italian wines or the Bordeaux wines, and they say that, oh, they don't have sulfites. All of them have sulfites, and that's why even this is a Portuguese wine. And if you look on it, you'll see that it contains sulfites.
Oh, okay.
Almost all wines have sulfites added to them because they're really good for preserving the wine. And so for us, what we are not against sulfites, because sulfites have been around since the Roman time for wine, but you don't need them once you open the bottle. You need to be able to remove them from the wine so that you don't have the sulfite sensitivities, and you don't need the histamines either.
No, not at all. Well, you also have some new ones.
Yes.
So let's talk about some of those as well. That you also came out, there was some bio.
Yes, that is our latest product this year. These are called the bio ones, and I'll pull out my little fan here.
I want to see the bio one.
This is the white one. And so what we wanted to do, because these are products that you one-time use and you throw them in the garbage, but what we wanted to do, and this is really my son Derek, who's a co-founder, he came up with this product this year where we made it out of sugarcane plastic. That's what this is. This is the same technology, but with a different plastic. So that literally you throw it into the recycle or the landfill, and then 6 months later it's gone. Poof.
So environmentally
friendly for that.
There you go.
We've really been trying to be very environmentally conscious with that because it really has to do with health and wellness and earth-friendly kinds of products.
Oh, wow.
That's true with our biopods that we have there, and then also with our new generation wands to where they are earth-friendly.
Wow. So let's talk a little bit. So if they want to get on and order some fun treats.
Everybody needs a gift, right?
Yes, this time of year. Everyone needs stocking stuffers. I know y'all are going to parties. These are the best things. And these are, this would be a great, a lot of you ladies are doing those secret Santas or those dirty Santa parties. And this is a great gift because your friends would love this. So let's talk about the packaging and like what you have that they can order and all that good stuff.
Well, we've got all different sizes. And so this is really for what we call the little starter. And so this has 3 wands.
Okay.
So if you wanted to just put that in a little stocking stuffer, you could do that. We've got all these different colors. This is one that does great for weddings. Okay. So we have a lot of gifting for bridesmaids. So this is a gold and silver set.
Oh, nice.
And so it works great for the holidays also. These right here are our standard. These actually come in 8, and then we have 24, 48, 72. We've got large sort of, if you're going to pantry load or if you want to just have them for home use, that's what we find is the most common. But then, of course, we work with a lot of the cancer organizations. We really support various cancer organizations, both nationally and locally.
Okay.
In
I love that.
Our communities. And so we give back a portion of our sales for these pink wands to cancer organizations.
I love.
And then we also work with migraine organizations and provide monies back to them through some of our other colors that we have for that.
Wow.
Because again, migraine organizations, it's really interesting to go to those. I speak at a lot of migraine organizations, and it's red wine is something that they treasure being able to bring back into their life if they can, because it's amazing. You never appreciate how much some of the migraine sufferers really truly suffer.
Yes.
Is that their lives change. If the really severe ones are often isolated, and so if they can bring something back into their life that they really treasured, it's a very moving moment for some of the people.
I can relate. If any of y'all are out there that have the migraines, oh my goodness, they are not
debilitating.
Fun. Yes, they are. It is out, and I do have some medication that I take that is the only thing that gets me through it. But put me down for a couple hours in a dark room.
So what we found is that it's because of the histamines is in there, because I'll give a fancy word, is it called vasodilation? They call your blood vessels to dilate. And that's why within 10, 15 minutes, people drink a wine and they end up getting a headache.
Yeah.
And so it's that trigger mechanism. And so what we have found is that when you remove the histamines out of the wine, it doesn't trigger their migraines anymore. So that's our family of colors.
I love it.
And we are just very excited to see how many people are enjoying our products. And
Yes.
we've got some more products we're coming out with in the near future, but
I can't wait.
These are our family of products now.
So again, we've got the link here. You can order your holiday gifts here. It's a one-stop shop.
drinkyourwine.com, and we are a local company. We're out of Grapevine, Texas.
And I love hearing that too. So thank you so much, David. I'm going to taste my wine. We're going to cheers with this. Cheers to the holidays and drinking wine and not getting a headache.
Cheers to you and your family.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple and Spotify, as well as Kimberly's YouTube channel. If you'd like to contact Kimberly directly, you can email her at kimberlywoodard@ebby.com or call 214-632-2092. We hope you enjoyed our guest this week, and remember, don't just love your home, love your community.